I don't want to be on a planet with people whose decision-making and ability to insulate themselves, their decision-making is piss poor. They're highly extractive, so they're destroying everything that the rest of us have built. They're untouchable. Our media protects them morning, noon, and night. We can't even get people to take an interest in a probably state-sponsored pedophile working for the intelligence services of some country. I don't know, maybe the US. Whatever it is that we're doing, many of us need to be away from the elite. These elite are not elite. They're going to blow this place sky high. They are playing with toys that they don't understand. They don't program their computers. They don't know atomic physics. They don't understand Austrian economics for the most part. They understand how to manipulate things into their pockets. They're very good at that. Those people are going to blow up. And I promise you, with certainty approaching 1.0, the art of the possible crowd, which is what Washington, D.C. sees itself as being, together with the academic world, which has gone ideologically off the deep end, together with our media that is staffed by people who came out of the academic world that has already gone off of the deep end, there's nothing institutional to trust. If you guys are as rich as I think you are, and I pray to God you are, and I hope Satoshi's listening, for God's sakes, spend money on immunizing things that you love. If you love something in this world, if you see something that used to be great that now sucks, and you've got so much money that you're taking stupid photos and posting them on Instagram and saying, look, Bitcoin really matters, consider taking that money and giving somebody else other than you the ability to say F you. Think of it as middle finger money. And think about every time you insulate somebody, what you're doing is you're giving that person the ability to cause more problems for the central bankers, for the epidemiologists and virologists who can't get anything right on this disease. You want to call to task the people who pulled out of Afghanistan in such a god-awful way that we sent a message that the US cannot be relied upon. What is wrong with you people? It's sort of, I mean, I don't know how to say it. It's like, yes, you've got a Lambo. I got it. I'm so effing bored with your photos, you know? Super happy about the wealth. Are you building an accelerator? Are you saving an academic discipline from oblivion? Are you saving, I don't know, form a mercenary company to do ethical military maneuvers for the US? Do something that insulates our ability to kick ass, be good, give correct answers. I mean, wouldn't it be great, for example, if you had a different copy of the Bureau of Labor Statistics that was empowered to calculate inflation accurately? I can promise you that the economics profession is holding itself back so that it has the freedom to calibrate the price and quantity indices to report what people need it to say. And I guess the way I look at your money is you've got a ton of money that is necessary to feel comfortable about your world, to take big bets. But then there's like your consumption money. So, you know, you imagine, hey, I chartered a flight and I took all my friends to St. Bart's and, you know, okay, that's great. At what point do you try to transfer FU-ness? Think about the disagreeability of your community. Well, there are virologists who want to say FU who can't. There are economists who want to say FU who can't. There are physicists who want to say FU who can't. There are artists who are being forced to make bad movies and bad music that reflects some sort of brain-dead social engineering mindset, who want to go into the studio and make great art. I guess what I'm thinking of is we don't need a redistribution of wealth. We need a redistribution of FU money from the people who've focused on accumulating it to the people who need it. And I maybe it's like a flaw in my character, but I'm not that worried about everyone else. I really believe that if you save academic freedom If you have a bunch of academicians who are calling out what's going on in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, as opposed to just sitting there like fools, forced to parrot things that they've been told if they want their grants from them. Maybe this is, and this really isn't about the Bitcoin community. I think I've gotten frustrated with the very rich. The very rich at the moment don't want to build. They don't want to build new universities. They don't want to build new political parties. They don't want to build new outfits that really report. They don't believe that it's possible to do anything. And I think what they're learning is that it was very expensive to ensure academic freedom so that respected members of our world had the ability to say things that were scary. Think about Martha Stewart going to jail. Mm. It's so unusual that anyone in Martha Stewart's class goes to jail anymore. It used to be that members of Congress would go to jail with some frequency and financiers would go to jail with some frequency. Right now, we have a world in which everyone is scared, but some people are rich. And I really think that the best use of a lot of this money, if you wanted to save the planet, and you may not, it's not incumbent upon you to save the planet, but the role of government is being abdicated. The role of the universities is being abdicated. The role of the political parties is being abdicated. No one can afford the courage needed to do the right thing. And it may be that if people have made vast amounts of money, they have an idea of, hey, why should I do anything? In which case, good luck. Enjoy your planet. See how long it lasts.
Excellent points there. The big thing that jumps out to me is you can't be passive or neutral, right? Even if you've got a few money of whatever variety, billionaire, a ton of Bitcoin, the money is useless if there's not social cooperation and a division of labor, right? If there's not wealth being produced and everything breaks down, your money is just worth less and less over time. So, okay, you make this point, can't live on the same planet with Nancy Pelosi and all of these other politicians that are very extractive.
The anti-reality club that is extracting you.
The anti-reality club, which I would call it the fiat reality club, right? They're just
make your own reality.
Yeah, it's literally made up, decreed into reality based on theft via inflation, taxation.
I don't want to say all these words. It's possible to have a Keynesian system that doesn't fall prey to this. I don't think we're there now. You and I are largely in agreement. You can say it in a more libertarian fashion. I come from a more progressive background, but right at the moment, these people can't be trusted with these levers.
Right. So in my mind, I hear you about getting off the planet. I think that would be kind of the stretch goal because who knows how we're going to do that at this point.
Actually, I want to stop because that intuition is killing us. We didn't have powered flight in 1902. Mm-hmm. We dropped a fusion bomb from a plane in 1952. 1952 is thousands and thousands and thousands of years after 1902. Look at pictures. I don't know when we did Cassini-Huygens, when we got to Titan, but I believe, it's like inside of a century.
Yeah.
I don't know that we aren't very close to being able to not only get off this planet, but do quite a bit more. And our pessimism has to do with the fact that we haven't seen the world truly shift. If I were you, look, I'm the only person saying this, so I don't really know whether I've gone off the deep end and everybody else is sane, but personally, I think everybody else is crazy and I'm just fine. Fund your physicists. They're the only people who can get you out of here. And even then, it's not a slam dunk. And if you don't want to fund your physicists, fine. But know why it is that you're trapped here. It's because you didn't have the imagination to just fantasize that the theory that does to Einstein what Einstein does to Newton might have all sorts of new gadgets, might have new opportunities. Think about what the semiconductor, which came out of physics, did. Think about what the electromagnetic spectrum, which came out of physics, did. Think about what electron levels in chemistry did with the ability to engineer molecules. Think about what the World Wide Web did coming out of CERN. Are you out of your minds? Wake, I'm so bored of this. I can't, I go on so many shows, I say the same thing, and people just like, dude, you're special pleading. Well, for fuck's sake. Yeah, there's a ton of academic PhDs who went into this field not thinking they were taking a vow of poverty, who thought they were going to get a chance to say F you, work on the coolest stuff, and make everybody's dreams come true. And you know what you did? You flooded their market. You made their lives miserable. You took away their ability to use the intellectual property laws to get any return from what they themselves can do. You signed them over into virtual serfdom and servitude. And now you're saying like, oh, well, we can't have anything new. Well, yeah, because you hobbled your smartest people, you fucking morons.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
No. This makes this. I'm reminded again here of what you said earlier, where we can't see or sense what hasn't happened yet. So we can have these very fundamental breakthroughs very suddenly, right? We could, if we funded physics properly and nurtured it, that we could have an interdimensional gateway breakthrough.
Maybe
like
you could have dark chemistry.
Yeah.
You could have an entire industry that would be based on dark chemistry if the dark matter turns out to be accessible in an important fashion. But instead, you've got people maybe like Nima Arkani Hamed, one of the most brilliant men on the planet, fantasizing about whether China will build him an accelerator.
Mm.
Why? Because, it might cost a few $1 billion to build an accelerator. Well, for God's sakes, I don't know. I see myself on a Titanic where the idea is that the only people who could actually keep the ship from sinking, are being tipped and paid minimum wage. And it's just like, well, do you want the ship to sink? It's like, well, you're just trying to get money out of the rich people on board. It's like, sometimes I just want the boat to go under, and it's not a healthy thought. It's just like, I'm so tired of listening to wealthy, stupid people. If you're so rich, why aren't you smart? Is a much better question than the reverse.
Yeah, I think there may be a deeper frustration here with the incentive scheme that the rich inhabit, right? That a lot of people get rich right now through coercion, like we just mentioned about this political class. So I will retract the statement that I said that it's a stretch goal. What are we going to do in the meanwhile? Let's say that they're both goals worth pursuing.
It might be a stretch goal.
Yeah.
And it might be that it's much
and it might not be. Yes.
You might be on the verge of inventing the semiconductor and the computer.
Right.
And you don't know how much is about to change.
Yes. So I would say that the two propositions I'm saying here is there's one, well, actually you're putting this forward, I'm just echoing it back. We should keep trying to push innovation, funding the sciences, physics specifically, to have these breakthroughs that can be very transformational for human society in the longer arc of history. And then also the more of the position I think I'm putting forth here is that this political parasitic class that survives through extraction and centralizes power in the world and propagates this insanity even of, printing money to try and fix problems or centrally plan and manage economies, which we've just seen. I don't want to say the market is perfect because we haven't got into market failures yet. I'm still trying to explore that, but I will assert that it is superior to top-down, centrally planned economic models, in my opinion. If we can advocate for and educate people about untouchable property or inviolable property in its best implementation yet, which is Bitcoin, I think we can disempower that extractive class.
Okay.
So I do think there's a grassroots movement here too.
Okay. So I've been telling you physics, go after physics, only physics.
Yeah.
Assume that you're not ready for that. All right. Get a bunch of the richest Bitcoiners together and endow 3 to 4 chairs in economics at leading universities and say that you want to specify the initial holders of the chair or you're not playing ball. So right now you've got like a professional wrestling association that dominates economic theory.
Mm.
And you say, look, we just want to bring some MMA fighters in amongst you. You can professional wrestle and these guys will MMA and you'll be in the same department. It'll be great.
I like this.
And they're saying like, well, couldn't we just have the money to hire more professional wrestlers? Like, oh, no. The initial chair holder is specified. Person's got good credentials. They come from good places. Again, I'm not an economist. I'm not a physicist. If you do that, you will have so much leverage because a single voice in the Chicago and MIT and Harvard economics departments, and throw in Stanford, that's 4 endowed chairs. You'll have 4 voices that will electrify everyone because nobody's ever seen the rock go down.
Yeah.
They've never seen the Undertaker take a fall because somebody really knows their Brazilian jiu-jitsu. What you need to do is to screw up the performative world by giving the people who need, look, not everybody thinks about money as much as the Bitcoin community. And by the way, I want to be very clear. It's not your job to do this. It's not Bitcoin's job to solve all of the problems. It is Bitcoin's opportunity.
Yeah.
It's a smart group of people who want to screw things up and have a blast. And I promise you that after you're done jet skiing, after you're done heli skiing, after you're done all forms of whatever it is that you're going to do, kite surfing, don't you want war stories? Don't you want, I work for a guy who decided he didn't want to be bullied by Gawker Media for being gay. And I think he spent, several million in order to take down an organization that he felt was harassing him. Okay. Are you guys not? Do it collectively. Get 1,000 the richest, most badass Bitcoiners together, kick in a small amount in your own chosen field of economics, and pay for the professors who will make everyone else look like idiots. Can you imagine, for example, if you had a virologist right now who wasn't dependent on NIH or Anthony Fauci for grants, what they would sound like?
Right.
Think about the Upton Sinclair line, which is that it is difficult for a man to understand something when his paycheck rests upon his not understanding.
Yes.
Well, that has led to universal enslavement.
Right.
Figure out who you want to immunize from that and who you want on team disintermediation. And you can pay for a small amount of freedom. Use the leverage. Figure out the fields where there are people who need to be empowered to say F you and put them in positions of respectability and then watch what happens. Can you endow a reporter's chair? Somebody who will report the news? At what point do you realize how much power you actually have? That's the question. You guys still act as if you don't. It's like you don't really believe in yourself. And that's tough on me.